You know, our whole world runs on these invisible sets of rules that we never ever see. I'm talking about complex systems that organize everything, from how the internet works to how ships cross the ocean. Well, today, we're going to make one of those rulebooks visible. It's called SMM7, and without it, the cities we live in, they might look totally different. So, let's pull back the curtain.
So let's just start with a question that sounds kind of simple at first. How do you actually put a price on a skyscraper? I mean, really think about it for a second. Every single beam, every wire, every pane of glass, not to mention every hour of work. Where do you even begin to make a budget that isn't just a complete and total guess?
And really, the core problem is beautiful in its simplicity. Just imagine this. One person measures a window by its glass area. Another measures it by the length of the frame. And a third person measures it by the size of the hole in the wall. You end up with three totally different numbers for the exact same thing. Now multiply that confusion by every single component in a skyscraper, and you've got absolute chaos.
Before they figured this out, the construction industry was basically a modern-day Tower of Babel. You had architects, builders, and suppliers all speaking slightly different languages when it came to measurement. And this wasn't just, confusing. It led to huge arguments, massive delays, and incredible financial risks.
And get this is not a new problem, not by a long shot. This preface, from the very first attempt at a rulebook way back in 1922, talks about a world of diverse practice and local custom. Without one single source of truth, builders were, and I'm quoting here, frequently left in doubt as to the true meaning of items. The entire system was basically built on guesswork.
So to cut through all this chaos, a group of pros did something pretty radical. They didn't invent some new power tool or a new kind of concrete. No, they invented a language. A single, authoritative rulebook for how to describe and measure every piece of a building so that everyone could finally get on the same page.
And this wasn't some quick fix. No. This was a long, deliberate process of refinement that went on for decades. The rulebook evolved edition by edition, getting better and adapting, all leading up to the 7th edition, SM7, in 1988. This was the standard that would go on to define construction for a whole generation.
And let's just go back to that original motivation for a second. This wasn't just about being technically precise. It was really a plea for clarity, for fairness. It was all about getting rid of the guesswork, protecting contractors from all that uncertainty, and creating a system where people could do business with each other honestly.
So, what did this new universal language actually look like? Well, to really get its impact, you have to appreciate its absolutely staggering scope. SMM7 didn't just organize a building project. It basically performed an autopsy on a building, dissecting it down to its most fundamental parts. The system starts from the ground up, literally. It creates these super precise rules for measuring the groundwork, for pouring the concrete, and for laying every single brick of masonry. It gives everyone the same unambiguous language for a building's very foundation.
Okay, so from the foundation, SM7 dives into the building's vital organs. Think of them as its veins and arteries. Disposal systems, water pipes, heating, cooling, every single pipe, pump, and boiler was classified and given its own exact rule for how to measure it.
And then you've got the building's nervous system. Every little detail of the electrical supply, the communication and security systems, even things like elevators and escalators, all of it was meticulously defined. I mean, the coverage was just total.
Okay, but here's the absolute key to understanding all this. SMM7 didn't tell you how to lay a brick or wire a circuit. It wasn't a construction manual. Think of it more like a grammar book. It gave you the exact unambiguous words and rules to describe the work so that it could be priced accurately. Right, so you're probably thinking, how on earth does all this insane detail lead to simplicity? It sounds like a total paradox. But by systematically organizing all that complexity, SMM7 managed to create a final product that was astonishingly clear. Yeah, if you actually crack open the rulebook itself, it looks dense. It's complex, almost intimidating, right? These are the classification tables and measurement rules. This is the engine room of the whole system, where every single little thing is given its own unique identity. But all that complexity in the engine room, it's all there to create something incredibly, beautifully simple. The Bill of Quantities. You can think of it as the ultimate, universally understood shopping list for a building.
where every single item is defined by SMM7, leaving absolutely zero room for doubt.
And that's the real magic. When everyone is working from the exact same bill of quantities, every contractor is pricing the exact same things. It creates a truly level playing field. It's what makes fair competition possible and builds trust across the entire industry. Okay, but here's the twist in the story. If you go looking for SMM7 today, you'll find it's basically been put in a museum. Its story is over. But, and here's the crazy part, that's not a failure. It's actually the biggest sign of its success.
I mean, the clue is literally right there on the cover page. SMM7 has been superseded by NRM2. Because just like any living language, it had to evolve. As the world of construction kept changing, with new materials, new tech, new ways of working, the language needed to change right along with it.
So think of it this way. SMM7 didn't get tossed out because it was wrong. It got an upgrade because it was so right. It laid down the bedrock principle that having a standard just works. Its successor, NRM2, is just building on that solid foundation, adapting the language for the even more complex modern world. And that, right there, is the true legacy of SMM7. It isn't the book itself. It's the powerful, world-changing idea behind it. That when we all agree on a common language and a shared set of rules, we can move from total chaos to crystal clarity and unlock incredible human progress.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? From the code that runs your phone to the financial rules that shape our economy, we are all living inside these complex systems. So just take a moment and look around. What are the invisible rulebooks that shape your world?